At 81, Gladys Knight finally tells the truth about Michael Jackson. Gladys Knight was born Gladys Maria Knight on May 28, 1944, in Atlanta, Georgia. Gladys displayed her vocal gifts from a very young age. By the time she was 4, she was already singing solos in her church choir, captivating congregations with a voice far beyond her years. Her family, recognizing her talent, supported her deeply, and by 8, she had won Ted Mack's Original Amateur Hour television contest, a defining early moment that foreshadowed the remarkable career that lay ahead. In the 1950s, Gladys joined forces with her siblings and cousins to form the Pips, a family act that would later become one of the most respected groups in soul and R&B history. The group originally consisted of Gladys, her brother Merrill Bubba Knight, and cousins Edward Patton and William Guest. Over the years, they developed a polished, dynamic sound that blended Gladys's rich, emotive vocals with their smooth harmonies and tightly synchronized choreography. Together, they rose to prominence in the 1960s and 1970s with an unforgettable string of hits that became cornerstones of soul music. Their time at Motown Records brought national attention, where they released enduring classics such as I Heard It Through the Grapevine, If I Were Your Woman, and Neither One of Us Wants to Be the First to Say Goodbye. Yet it was after moving to Buddha Records that they reached the peak of their fame. In 1973, they recorded Midnight Train to Georgia, a heartfelt anthem of love and sacrifice that became their signature song. The single topped the Billboard Hot 100 chart and earned them a Grammy Award, cementing their place in music history. Gladys's delivery, raw, soulful, and deeply human, captured the struggles, hopes, and resilience of an entire generation. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Gladys Knight and the Pips continued to deliver chart-topping hits like Best Thing That Ever Happened to Me, I've Got to Use My Imagination, and Love Overboard. Their smooth blend of gospel-inspired emotion, R&B groove, and pop crossover appeal made them one of the most versatile acts of their time. Beyond the music, their performances were full of grace, class, and unity, symbols of perseverance and excellence in the African-American entertainment community during a time of great social change. When the Pips retired in 1989, Gladys Knight fearlessly embarked on a solo career, proving that her artistry could stand alone. Her solo albums further showcased her ability to evolve while staying true to her soulful roots. She explored gospel, pop, and contemporary R&B, earning new accolades and reaching new audiences. Her 1994 gospel album, Many Different Roads, expressed her deep spirituality and connection to faith, while her later works reaffirmed her standing as a timeless interpreter of song. Gladys's contributions extend beyond music. She has appeared on television and in films, including memorable roles in Pipe Dreams and Tyler Perry's I Can Do Bad All by Myself, as well as guest appearances on numerous talk shows and award specials. Her poise, humility, and strength have made her not just a star, but a respected matriarch in the entertainment world. In recognition of her extraordinary impact, she and the Pips were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1996, and she later received the National Medal of Arts and Kennedy Center honors, fitting tributes to a woman whose voice shaped the soundtrack of multiple generations. Even well into her later years, Gladys Knight continues to perform with undiminished passion. Her concerts remain celebrations of love, faith, and resilience, drawing devoted fans from around the globe. Her influence can be heard in countless artists who followed in her footsteps, from Whitney Houston to Beyoncé, each of whom owes part of their artistic lineage to the emotional honesty and vocal mastery that Gladys embodied. Gladys Knight's personal life has been as eventful and emotionally rich as her legendary musical career. Over the years, she has experienced both the joy and heartache of love, marriage, and loss, each chapter contributing to the strength and wisdom she radiates today. Through 4 marriages, Knight's journey reflects not only her resilience as a woman, but also her unshakable faith, emotional depth, and enduring optimism about life and love. Her first marriage was to James Newman, whom she wed in 1960 when she was still in her teens, at the dawn of her career. At the time, Gladys was balancing the demands of a rising singing career with her role as a young wife and soon-to-be mother. Newman was her high school sweetheart, and their union seemed full of promise and youthful hope. Together, they welcomed 2 children, James Jimmy Newman III and Kenya Newman, who would later become important parts of Gladys's life, both personally and professionally. However, as her fame with Gladys Knight and the Pips began to rise, the pressures of show business and the constant time apart took a toll on the marriage. Newman also struggled with drug addiction, which created growing instability in their relationship. Gladys, devoted as both a mother and performer, found herself carrying much of the emotional and financial weight of the family. By 1973, after 13 years of marriage, the couple divorced, ending a union marked by both deep love and significant hardship. Despite the pain, Gladys has often spoken with empathy about that period, acknowledging it as a formative experience that shaped her resilience and understanding of love. The following year, in 1974, Knight married Barry Hankerson, a music producer and businessman who would later become well known as the founder of Blackground Records and the uncle of the late R&B singer Aaliyah. At first, their relationship was full of creative energy and shared ambition. Both were deeply involved in the music industry and understood the pressures and excitement that came with fame. Together, they had a son, Shanga Hankerson, who would later go on to open a chain of soul food restaurants called Gladys Knight's Chicken and Waffles in honor of his mother's legacy. However, the marriage soon became strained. Conflicting priorities, business disagreements, and personal challenges caused increasing tension between the two. By 1979, the relationship had reached its breaking point, leading to a divorce that was both emotionally and professionally difficult. The separation marked another turning point in Gladys's life. She began to focus more deeply on her spiritual growth and inner peace, learning valuable lessons about the need for balance between career success and emotional fulfillment. Years later, in 1995, Gladys entered her 3rd marriage, this time to Les Brown, a charismatic motivational speaker and author widely admired for his inspirational talks about overcoming adversity and achieving one's dreams. Their union attracted public attention, as both were high-profile figures known for their positive energy and personal triumphs. On the surface, their relationship seemed to be a perfect pairing, 2 strong, passionate individuals who had each faced life's challenges with courage and grace. However, despite their mutual respect and affection, the marriage proved difficult to sustain. The couple's busy schedules, differing lifestyles, and the pressures of public life began to take their toll. After just 2 years in 1997, Gladys and Les divorced. Though short-lived, their marriage left a lasting impact on both of them. Gladys has often spoken fondly of Les, describing how his optimism and spiritual insight helped her rediscover self-confidence and inner calm during a transitional period in her life. Finally, in 2001, Gladys Knight found lasting happiness with William McDowell, a man who shared her deep faith and strong moral compass. Unlike her earlier relationships, this marriage was rooted in a profound spiritual connection. McDowell, who was not part of the entertainment industry, brought stability, peace, and grounding to Knight's world, a world that had long been filled with the chaos of fame and the emotional highs and lows of stardom. Together, they have dedicated much of their time to charitable and community work, focusing on faith-based initiatives and family-oriented causes. The couple has also been active in running the Beulah Baptist Church community in North Carolina, where Knight often lends her voice to gospel music and ministry. With McDowell, she has found not only a devoted partner but also a collaborator in faith and service. Their relationship represents a new chapter in her life, one centered on spiritual fulfillment, gratitude, and enduring love. After more than 6 decades in the music industry, Gladys Knight, the Empress of Soul, has never been one to hold back when it comes to speaking her truth. Now, at 81, she's opening up like never before about her deep, complex, and emotional connection to Michael Jackson, the king of pop. Their relationship stretched far beyond industry camaraderie. It was built on years of mutual admiration, shared experiences as African-American performers, breaking barriers, and a profound sense of maternal care that Gladys felt toward Michael. For the first time, she's sharing how she truly saw him, not as an unreachable superstar, but as a deeply sensitive, gifted, and troubled human being. Gladys began by recalling the first time she met Michael Jackson when he was still a child performing with the Jackson 5. "From the very first moment I saw that boy sing, I knew he had something special," she said. "There was a light in him that was almost divine. He could hold a crowd in the palm of his hand before he even hit his teenage years." Gladys was already an established artist at Motown during that time, and she witnessed firsthand how the young Jacksons were thrust into the spotlight. She remembered seeing Michael's mother, Catherine, backstage, and immediately sensing that he was a child destined for both greatness and burden. "Fame came for him too early," she explained. "He was just a baby trying to carry a mountain on his shoulders." As the years went by, Gladys watched Michael evolve from a precocious child into one of the most influential entertainers in history. "Michael didn't just perform, he transformed," she said. "He gave everything he had, every ounce of himself, to his art. People talk about his dancing, his singing, but they don't always understand how deeply he felt everything he did." She revealed that behind the scenes, Michael was soft-spoken, shy, and often seeking genuine connection. He wasn't that loud superstar people imagined. He was gentle. He would call me Miss Gladys and talk about music, love, and faith. He had such a sweet soul. Gladys also opened up about how she saw Michael struggle under the weight of global fame. "That kind of pressure isn't natural for anyone," she said solemnly. "He didn't have the freedom to make mistakes like other people." Everything he did was magnified 1,000 times. She remembered moments when Michael would express how tired he felt, not just physically, but emotionally. "He told me once, 'Miss Gladys, sometimes I wish I could just walk down the street and nobody would know my name.' That broke my heart, because that's all he ever wanted, to just be." When asked about the controversies that surrounded Michael's later years, Gladys spoke with compassion and firmness. "People forget that Michael was human," she said. "He made choices, yes, but he was also a man who carried the world's expectations from childhood. It's easy to judge when you've never lived that kind of life. I never believed he was the monster some tried to paint him as. Michael was misunderstood. He was sensitive, fragile even. He gave love to a world that didn't always give it back." Gladys also shared her thoughts on Michael's artistry and how it shaped generations. "Nobody will ever do what Michael did. He changed the landscape of music forever," she reflected. "He opened doors for so many of us. His creativity, his vision, that was genius. And it came from a place of deep emotion. Every note he sang had a story behind it." She paused, then added, "People think of him as a legend, and he was. But to me, he'll always be that little boy from Gary, Indiana with stars in his eyes." Even decades after his death, Gladys admits that she still feels his spirit. "Sometimes when I perform, I feel him," she said softly. "It's like he's right there, watching, smiling. I know he's at peace now, finally free from all the noise of this world." Her voice trembled slightly as she continued. "Michael gave us his heart. He gave us his joy. And in return, we owe him our understanding. We owe him kindness. In her later years, Gladys has become something of a guardian of musical memory, one of the few remaining artists who personally knew so many of the greats. She views her reflections not as gossip or revelations, but as a tribute. "I'm not telling my truth to stir things up," she said. "I'm telling it because Michael deserves to be remembered as the beautiful soul he was. I love that boy truly, and I miss him every day." Her words serve as both a eulogy and a reminder of the heavy toll of fame. Gladys Knight, who has endured her own trials in the spotlight, understands the price that artists like Michael Jackson paid for their greatness. "We all wanted a piece of him," she said finally, "but what he needed most was peace. I hope he has that now." In 2009, Knight sang "His Eye is on the Sparrow" and "The Lord's Prayer" at the funeral service for Michael Jackson. In her honesty, Gladys Knight captures something rare, not just the truth about Michael Jackson's life, but the humanity behind the myth. Her reflections remind the world that beneath the glitter, the moonwalks, and the records, Michael was a man who wanted to be loved for who he truly was.